ever had a day when you had everything planned out on what you was going to do? You had everything set up the way you wanted it to be. You thought you had everything set up the way you wanted it to be, but things don't work out the way you wanted to. I know you can relate to uh my frustration. So, but that's life, right? We have plans on how we want things to play out. We have plans on what we want to do throughout the day or our lives, and they just don't work out that way. But we got to continue to go along with the flow, right? We don't stop, we continue to go. And sometimes we have to pivot, sometimes we might have to stop, but we just continue for a moment we have to stop, right, until we continue to go on, and hopefully the path that we're taking in life is the right path. It happens. But anyway, that being said, good evening, my Plentyi family. Again, thank you for joining us today at our Ask Anything Parking live on YouTube. Every Wednesday is normally at 7, but today is at 10:30. So our topic is, and since it's so late, I just have a script, and I probably will be reading from the script, but it's still something I would like to share with you. So, like I said, hello everyone. So if you are joining us while you're circling in the block at 10:30 looking for parking, I understand. Or you're stressed out because you cannot find the spot, I understand. So this live is for you. But if you are driving and you're watching this while you're driving, please don't do that, because you don't want to be distracted with everything, the ice, the snow and everything, and people driving crazy. You don't want to be distracted. So just listen, don't watch. Okay, don't watch. So that being said, our topic is today is why you can't find parking. It's not your fault, right? It is a system problem, not a driver problem, right? So we've been lied to. We have been told that parking is a driver problem, but there's just too many people and not enough spots. And that's a myth, right? The truth is parking is a system problem. Today, I am going to show you the research that proves it, and more importantly, how we're fixing it at Plentyi. So let's talk about Dr. Donald Shoup. The leading researcher on this found that in some cities, 30% of traffic is just people cruising for parking. Why? Because the system is broken. Cities underprice street parking, which makes everyone circle like sharks for parking. I mean, yes, definitely. We know in New York, right, that we are looking for parking because parking is cheaper than paying for parking. So we're circling, looking for parking. But meanwhile, parking minimums laws like that force bills to have huge lots make our housing more expensive. Research shows that a single garage spot can add $50,000 to the cost of a building. That being said, that when there are parking garages that are built in your neighborhood or in areas where you work at, that can actually cost a parking garage $50,000, $20,000 to $50,000 for them to build that parking space, right? So we're paying for that in our taxes one way or the other. And sometimes you don't even have a car and you might be paying for it, right? So, like for example, I live in a co-op, and I was on a waiting list for a parking space, but I still had to pay for that parking garage or that parking lot to be fixed. It still was something I had to pay for. So that's all about. So our cities are paved with asphalt that sits idle 95% of the time, which tells us the system tells us you have to keep circling or pay $40 for massive concrete parking structure. So yes, sometimes we do have to pay for parking. Sometimes we're in certain areas that we have to make a choice. Are we going to pay $40 for parking, or are we going to keep circling the block? Sometimes we have to make that decision, and sometimes it's the best decision because we might actually be saving more time and more money instead of getting a ticket. So So that's the craziest part of the system is while we're circling the block, there are thousands of empty driveways and neighbor garages right next to you that are totally empty. So there's not really a lack of space, that's just a lack of connection. So here at Plentyi, what we decided to do is that is why we started Plentyi. We realized that you can't wait for a city hall to rewrite the zoning laws. We need to have a market-based solution now. So if you go to Plentyi, we're fixing a system. The system failures, right? By connecting others, with your drivers, directly to neighbor garages. So we also have parking garages, but also we have people who have driveways, who have parking space, or they have a business that have parking space. Listen, if you have that, you can be part of the solution, right? Is that we have driveways where people can actually park their vehicle. So for drivers, you can stop cruising, you save gas, save time, and get a guaranteed spot. For homeowners, you turn the systemic waste into passive income. So we're not just an app. Plentyi is not just an app. We're a way to bypass a broken urban design. We're taking the tragedy of the commons and turning it into a community-based economy. So listen, stop letting a broken system steal your time. If you're tired of parking or hunting for parking, if you have a spot that's sitting empty, right near in your driveway, head over to plentyi.com, Plentyi.com, and sign up with us. And if you're looking for space, sign up with us because we're all about not giving, we can give money to the people in our community instead of giving money to the enforcement action. Do you know how much money New York makes every year? They make billions of dollars every year off. They have a whole system. If you think about it, they have traffic enforcement that's pretty much dedicated to towing your vehicle, ticketing you. People who retire from that business, they retire from that job and they're just doing their job, right? But that being said, if we can come together and we can help our neighbors, neighbors can use their neighbor driveway, put money in their pocket, and we don't have to keep feeding the system with parking tickets and towing fees. That'd be awesome. So listen, join us again. Parking is not a driver problem, it's a system problem, and there's ways that we can fix that system. Thanks, Shelly. Thanks for saying that. Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. So anyway, if you want to, if you know anybody who's looking for parking, who needs parking, who doesn't want to worry about getting ticketed, please sign up with us. And if you know anybody who has a driveway, who's looking to earn income, or they have a parking lot in the back of their home or their business, please point them to Plentyi.com because we're looking for people who have spaces so we can break the system and create our own system for people in our neighborhood so we can continue to save money and save time because that's what we're all about, you know? So anyway, thank you for joining us. Normally we're 7 p.m., but we went late because we had a crazy day today. But thank you for joining us and have a blessed evening and good night. Be safe.